Okay, Shalom Aleichem, Chevra. Welcome back, Chevra. I want to talk about a topic. There's definitely an excitement at the beginning of a Zman, but we're also leaving. I'm going to talk personally. I happen to love the Yontiv of Sukkot, and specifically it culminates in Simchas Torah and Shmini Atzeres. Shmini Atzeres is a tremendously holy day in the calendar. It's a beautiful, beautiful Yontiv Shmini Atzeres. It culminates after Rosh Hashanah, Atzeres Yimei Tshuva, Yom Kippur, all the days of Sukkot. We have the day where Hashem says, Ikvi imi yom echad, stay with me another day. I love you. I love you. I'm into you. Stay with me another day. It's a day that doesn't really have mitzvahs. It has no external mitzvahs. We stop sitting in the sukkah. We stop shaking the daled minim. And Shmini Atzeres has no mitzvah, day of Hashem's love of us. And the minhag of Klal Yisrael, a beautiful minhag, and much is discussed. Everything Klal Yisrael does is for a reason. It's not what I want to talk about right now. Is Klal Yisrael puts Shmini Atzeres with Simchas Torah. It's confusing. In Eretz Yisrael, they don't have the extra day of Yontiv, so the eighth day of Sukkot is Shmini Atzeres and Simchas Torah wrapped in one. In Chutz La'aretz, it's fascinating. Hashem gifted us with an extra day of Yontiv. When Mashiach comes, Be'ez Hashem, when we all move to Eretz Yisrael, Be'ez Hashem, there'll be things we miss, but I don't know if we should be missing it. There'll be stuff to miss that maybe, is not the There's one thing I'm going to miss that I'm not going to feel guilty about missing. I'm going to miss the extra day of Yontiv. I don't know how you can give up on the extra day of Yontiv. I think that's crazy. I love the extra day of Yontiv. I'm not speaking for somebody else says, oh, it's so long. I don't have that. I promise. I'm not trying to sound from. If a guy has, oh my gosh, an extra day, 3 days, I don't know. I just don't have that. I can't speak for other people. I can speak for me. I love an extra day. Yontiv that we got as Shabbos was a gift. It's very hard to leave Yontiv. Baruch Hashem, we kept it longer in that Shabbos Kodesh. We had Shabbos, but I like in Golus was Zoichet to a second day, another day of Sukkot, Shmini Atzeres. On the second day, we up it with Simchas Torah. Very fascinating. We don't just do Shmini Atzeres again, we add Simchas Torah. I like it a lot because I don't think you ever do something over. I don't think that's ever let's do it again. Let's do it new, do it fresh, do it ever beautifully. That story is what I'm thinking of. My God. But Josh, you know the story, right? Somebody I appreciate a lot, a Rebbe, a very special person, met Shlomo Kalbach in the streets of Yerushalayim. And they didn't want to sing out loud because it was late at night. So they hummed a beautiful song together. And it was very beautiful. After they hummed it, Shlomo Kalbach said, that was beautiful, let's do it again. So this Yid, a Rebbe of mine, said to Shlomo Kalbach, we can't do it again, but we can't do it again, but we could sing that song another time. Don't just do it again. It's a new zach. It's not just do it again. So it's interesting. I like that our Shmini Atzeres, it's not like in Chutz La'aretz we do it again. So we add Simchas Torah. I like that we add Simchas Torah. We don't just do it again. We have Simchas Torah. The bottom line is that we have 2 great days of Shmini Atzeres that are a tremendous culmination of 21 days of Libun. 21 beautiful days. Rosh Hashanah, Atzeres Yimei Tshuva, Yom Kippur, 5 days between Yom Kippur and Sukkot, 7 days of Sukkot, and then after those 21 beautiful days, we have Shmini Atzeres. I love Shmini Atzeres, Aviyad, and Simchas Torah's glories. When it ends, there's definitely a difficult. It's like a downer. It's hard. Even though I'm excited, we get to come to yeshiva. I'm back with Aviyad, back with Avila, back with Joshua, Yosef. So that's definitely a chizuk to be back in yeshiva. But being honest, there's a certain downer leaving Simchas Torah. So I want to say something to the Chevra that gives me a lot of chizuk. It means something to me. I hope it means something to you. I want you to listen well to Aviad, to this. I'm telling you in an honest way, leaving Simchas Torah is difficult for me. It's glorious. It's beautiful. I love Simchas Torah. I want you once to come to my house, Simchas Torah, and we should celebrate. You'll bring your home mishpacha. I love Simchas Torah. I love Shmini Atzeres. I was zeicher to be with Josh and Avi, some Nachum, Mordcha. Some of us were together. Next year, I want you to, Akiva. Simchas Torah is beautiful. Lemaisa, I want to share something, Aviad, in leaving Simchas Torah and these precious days. I want to share a chizuk. I want to learn with the Chevra. I want you to bear with me on a journey. I'm giving a chizuk Shleima. Shleima, you had a positive Simchas Torah? Yeah. Simchas Torah is glorious. Dancing with the Torah, celebrating, running around. It's stunning. It's just nice. It's just beautiful. A whole shul together. I love the kids, the adults, the teens, running around, singing, dancing. It's just beautiful. Everybody's involved. Everybody's excited. It's a glorious celebration. Then we leave it is like definitely a downer. It's difficult. So I want to give a chizuk, but I want you all to hear this, Aviyah. I want you to hear a chizuk. I want, if I could ask all the guys, if you relate to we're not fake people. So there might be a guy who said, I didn't have a good Simchas Torah. I don't feel the down of leaving it. I promise I'm not asking you to fake anything. I feel a downer. There's some guys here who are sitting here, and it's difficult. They liked Yom Tov. They had a beautiful, uplifting Yom Tov. And so I'm not asking you to feel this way. I want you to still hear the chizuk if you feel this way. If you don't feel this way, please still listen to what I'm about to say. I think there'll be a lot of value to it. I'm not saying something cute, Yaakov. I'm actually talking that I love the Yom Tov, and just practically being with my family. I want to say something. I spent Yom Tov, my wife and I, my kids were just together. My son went off to Eretz Yisrael. Another son still in Eretz Yisrael. Family separate. It's not easy. The shul, by the way, I have very good friends in the shul. I like the people in the shul. We were like all together, so nice. We were sitting, having sudas together. And then, like, Baruch Hashem, I'm still with my family, but we're all back to work. My wife went back to work on Monday. I love this yeshiva. I love being here. I'm not with my family all day. There's something I want to tell the guys that is not just a chizuk, it's a truth. And I want you guys to hear it. It's a truth. It means a lot to me. Yaakov, I hope it will mean something to you. We're going to learn a very esoteric, cryptic Gemara. I'd like to study it. There's a lot to learn. I promise there's secrets of creation that I don't understand in this Gemara, but there's a lot I do understand. So I want to share. Please come with me on this journey, Aviad. It's hard. We're going to learn something mystical. I'm going to try to explain. I have certain understandings. I'm going to try to give what I do understand, but then I want to pull something from this Gemara. It's a Gemara we once learned, Avi, a year ago, but I've studied more about this Gemara. I want to share some of the things I've learned. I've thought a lot about this Gemara. Let's try to learn this Gemara together, Yosef. I think we'll be wiser and better for it. Yankov, you'll come and join me. Come and join the show. Ezzy, let's see if we get smarter from this Gemara. Comes a Gemara on Daf Samach Hamad Beis in Chulin. Masech Chulin Samach Beis. It relates to Parashas Bereshis, this past week's Parasha Aviyad. The Gemara says like this: Reb Shimon ben Pazi, Rami. Reb Shimon ben Pazi asks the following contradiction. Ksiv, one pasuk says, Vayas Elokim eshnei ha'ma'oros hagdolim. Hashem made two giant lights. The two giant lights are the sun and the moon. Vayas Elokim, God created eshnei ha'ma'oros hagdolim, two giant lights. Hashem created a sun and a moon. God created two powerful lights. That's one verse. V'ksiv, a different pasuk says, Es ha'ma'ora gadol, the giant light, the sun, l'memsheles bayom, rules by day. Ves ha'ma'ora katan, and the small light, l'memsheles balayla, rules at night. So we have a contradiction. We have one pasuk that says God made two giant lights. That's one pasuk. Vayaseh Elokim es shnei ha'ma'oros hagdolim. Hashem made two giant lights. So it calls the sun and moon what? Ma'or hagadol, giant lights, Aaron. That's one pasuk. A second pasuk calls the sun as a ma'or hagadol u'memshelas bayom. A giant light that rules by day is the sun. And the moon, it calls a ma'or hakatan, a small light. Is the moon giant light or a small light? It's a contradiction in verses in Parashas Parashas. One verse says Hashem created two giant lights, so it calls the sun and moon both giant lights. And a second pasuk calls the moon a ma'or hakatan, a small light. Is it a large light or a small light? Could I ask the guys what constitutes big and small? Is that a size thing, big and small? It's a contradiction. One pasuk calls the moon a giant light, a ma'or hagadol. It says Hashem created shnei ha'ma'oros hagdolim, two giant lights. Another pasuk calls the moon ma'or hakatan, a small light. What defines big and small? I love you, Morty. If you give or take. The sun is giant because it gives light. The moon has none of its own light. You look up to the sky, Avia, the moon, Eli, Avia, look up to the sky, the moon looks bright. Is the moon giving its own light? Is the moon a producer of light? What's the light you're seeing when the moon is shining? A reflection of the sunlight. The moon doesn't have any of its own light. It reflects light. So it's called a katan. A gadol is that which gives. A katan is that which receives. When we describe in yeshiva, I want to produce gedolim. What does it mean to be a gadol? To give. The sun is called a ma'or hagadol, a giant light, because it gives light. The moon is called a small light because it receives light. It reflects. It doesn't give its own light. It doesn't have any light. What are stars? Do stars have their own light or reflect? They have their own light. Stars do. It's interesting. The moon was given stars also to appease it. That you have some of your own light. They were given stars. So the moon really has both aspects. But the moon itself is called the ma'or hakatan because it doesn't give light. It receives light. It reflects light. It doesn't have its own light. So we have a contradiction. In the moon's creation, it says Hashem created two great lights. The moon was ma'or hagadol. And then later on, it says the moon is ma'or hakatan, is small. So the Gemara asks the contradiction in Chul and Samach and Beis, and the Gemara says as follows. The Gemara says, Amra yerach lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. God creates two powerful lights, the sun and the moon. Each have light to give. And the moon says, Rebbeinu Shalom, master of the world. After you hear this, speaking this Gemara, Hashem creates two powerful lights, the sun and the moon. They both generate light. And the moon comes to Hashem and says, Rebbeinu Shalom, master of the world. After l'shnei melachim she'ishtamshu b'keser echad. Can two kings use one crown? It won't work. If you ever have a basketball team, you make one captain, never make two captains. Never make two people in charge. In camps, I have told camps, don't have two counselors for one bunk. And if you do it, appoint one guy as the main counselor. You can't have two people in charge. It doesn't work, not for gaiva reasons. It doesn't work. One person, you don't have two presidents, a president and a vice president. It doesn't work. They could be the nicest guys and not their ego. It doesn't work. There's somebody in charge and somebody else. In an organization, you need one person in charge. That's how it works. It's ineffective to have two. The moon says, God, master of the world, Rebbeinu Shalom. You're the master of the world. You understand how things work. Efshel l'shnei melachim she'ishtamshu b'keser echad. Could two kings have one crown? How do you have two suns, two lights? Who's in charge? It's not a good idea. You don't appoint two people. If you appoint, the Gemara says that a kitchen, a pot that has two cooks never gets cooked, the Gemara says. You never have two people in charge. The buck should stop by one guy, and then the job gets done. You have a guy, he's in charge. You tell two people, you're both in charge. Shnei malachim and not mishtamshim b'keser echad. Two people can't use one crown. So the moon correctly says both are just not how the world works. The world you created. Both the sun and the moon are responsible to create light. It doesn't work like that. Ein shnei malachim mishtamshim b'keser. Was the moon speaking selfishly? It's very clear in the Gemara, not Yitzchak. The moon had no gaiv, had no arrogance. This was not a sin of the moon. I'll show you in a minute, Aviad. The moon's just saying it's not good for the world. You didn't do good for the world if you make two kings. It's not a good idea. So, Amar Kalish Baruch Hu, Hashem accepts the complaint to the moon. Amar La, Hashem says to her, to the moon, L'chiyu ma'ati asatzmucha. Lower yourself. Lower yourself. Which we're going to say is make yourself small. Now, I don't know if it means size. Certainly it means stop having your own light. Hashem says, lower yourself, moon. Stop having your own light, just reflect light. Now the moon says back to Hashem, complains. Amra lefanav Rabbeinu Shalom. The moon says, God, to Hashem, Hayil v'amarti l'fanecha davar hagan. I said something good to you. Emes atzmi, I should lose from it? Forever the moon is a bad lesson. The moon came so sincere, said it's not good for the world to have two lights. Because I pointed out something good, you say you lower yourself. Imagine you appoint two dorm counselors. The guy says, who's the guy in charge? It's not a good, it has to be one person in charge. So you say, it's a very good point. Okay, he's in charge, not you. Why should I lose? I was helping out here. Why should I lose? Forever the moon says I'm a bad lesson to the world. Whenever you see the moon, you say, there it goes, if you try to do good things. That's a chil Hashem nifla, Aviyah. The moon tried to do a good thing, and because of that, it doesn't have its own light. You see, Hashem doesn't say back, you were arrogant, you wanted power. Hashem consoles the moon. As the Hashem consoles, Hashem agrees to the moon. Amar La, Hashem says to the moon, Lechu mishol b'yom v'alayla. You're right, you did a good thing. You get night and day. The sun only is by day. You, the moon, will be night and day. It can't be you're less powerful. You get night and day. You sometimes see the moon by day, not often. But once in a while, you see the moon by day. It's there, what?
It doesn't do anything by day.
Frek the moon. You'd be a lawyer for the moon. Frek Shleima, welcome home, Shleima. Shleima says exactly what the moon says back to God. Amra lei, the moon says to Hashem, my rebuse, what's my gain? The shraga b'tia ramayahani. Does a fire help by day? I don't do anything by day. You say, well, you rule by day. I'm ineffective. I do nothing by day. Amar La, so God tries again. And Hashem says to the moon, Zil limni bach Yisrael yamim v'shanim. Klal Yisrael counts a lunar calendar. Our days and our years are by the moon. We're the only people in the world. The entire world keeps a solar calendar, a calendar of the sun. There are 365 days a year. There's one people in the world. We have a different calendar. We don't keep a solar calendar. A Bacher told me, one of the special guys in the yeshiva, Shleimer told me, that they asked, his father's Akamas Matzev is coming up, and they asked the big tzaddik, should they write the English date on the calendar? He said, no. Now, the English date is not fake. It's not fake. It's just not the count we do. He said, don't write it on the matzeva. Some people are very chassidim. Us chassidim are very strict. A lot of people will write the Hebrew and the English date. It's not because it's not real. It's just not the count of the Yidden. So Shleima's family was told to know. They listened, Shleima? I'm impressed. Shleima's family said, we're not putting on the English date. Not because it's fake. It's the solar. But I don't like guys say, it's not my real birthday. It's not real and fake. It's your solar birthday. We don't count by the solar year. We're not calling it fake. It's really your solar birthday. We just not the count that we call it Liminyanim. They Goyim count by it. The whole world counts by a solar year. We count by a lunar year. And that was God's consolation to the moon. That the Yidden are going to count a lunar year. Consoled. Moon, you've been lessened. A little consolation. I'm going to try to explain things. What's going on? Like, what's this consolation? The moon got lessened. It doesn't have its own light. But don't worry. The Yidden will count a lunar year. Very interesting. And we do, till today. What's our year, Chevra? The Goyim all have 365 day years. We have 354 days a year. We count by the moon. We literally have a different calendar than the Goyim. We count, they have a 365 day year. We have 12 months of 30 or 29 days. Do the math, it comes out to instead of 356, instead of 365, we have 354, 11 days less. We have 11 days less. The Goyim's calendar is the sun rotating around the earth, and the Yidden is the calendar of the moon's rotation. We count by the moon, different than the Goyim. We have a lunar calendar. So Hashem consoles the moon, Goyim will count the lunar year. Amrulay. So the moon's not done. The moon has a lawyer, and the moon says, Yaimanami efshel loimani bey. The loimani bey. Even for days we need the sun. And he brings psukim that we count by the sun. That we count by the sun. And what he means we count by the sun, I want to explain it. Even though we have a lunar calendar, we care about seasons. We're holding right now in fall. The 4 seasons, spring, fall, summer, winter, are completely based on the sun. So now where does that come into our calendar? We're a lunar calendar. If we left the lunar calendar, Pesach after a while would come out smack in the middle of the summer. Remember, we're 11 days off. Our year is shorter. Over time, Pesach would end up being frigid, be in the middle of the winter. Sukkot could be in the middle of the summer. There's a pasuk, it says, Shmaras Chodesh Aviv. Make sure that Pesach always stays in the spring. Sukkot is always supposed to stay the start of the winter, always. It's so cool. Hashem makes it. It's freaky. I always feel we're in the right place. Not everywhere in the world. I don't know what Yidden in Florida and LA do. I always feel, it could be they have their own version. I always love, you can smell Sukkot. It gets a certain cold, you like Sukkot, you like nod. It gets a certain cold. It's supposed to be that way. We're going in right before the cold season. Like feels, right? That's Sukkot. It's supposed to be that way. The start of winter is Sukkot. Maybe they call somebody and they hear somebody kvetch from New York or from a place that is starting to get cold. There's Sukkot weather that's just, you shake your head. It's Sukkot weather. It would never be a day like today. This feels like the summer came back again. That's l'kavod zman. But Sukkot is a shtickle cold. That's Sukkot weather. The bottom line is you're supposed to have Sukkot at the beginning of the winter. You're supposed to have Pesach in the spring. It's supposed to be that way. What do we do to make sure it stays that way, Tzviki? Because if we kept our lunar calendar, then after a while, Pesach would be smack dab middle of the winter. It's not supposed to be. How do we keep the seasons intact, keeping the lunar year, leap years? Every 19 years, we have 7 leap years. We add an extra month to our calendar. If you do the math, we're losing 11 days a year. So roughly every 3 years... Every 3 years we lose 33 days. If you figured that out, that's an extra month, roughly every 3 years. Every 19 years he adds 7, it works out to the minute, to the day. So we add an extra month. Every 19 years we add 7 extra months. For the mathematic guys, it works out. That's what we do. We do that because we're mechoyev. So now 1 second, said the moon back to Hashem, good they count the lunar year, but they factor in the sun, those leap years. So the moon's not happy. They factor in the sun. They need the sun. After all of this, is the conversation, I'm skipping a drip. Hashem says, okay, I've messed up. There's the words, the Gemara. Omer HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem says, Heviyu kapara alai, bring an atonement for me. I sinned. I lowered the moon, and I'm wrong. Kaviyach, I'm going to explain it. So bring a kapara, bring an atonement for me, shemi'ati esayareach, because I lowered the moon, What's the atonement? Every single Rosh Chodesh, we bring a sa'ir for a karban. The psukim call it a sa'ir lashem. We bring a sa'ir every musaf. We bring a goat every musaf, but only on Rosh Chodesh does it say sa'ir lashem, and lashem means on behalf of God. Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu sa'ir zeh. The karban you bring on Rosh Chodesh, kapara, should be an atonement for God, shemi'atis yareach, for lowering the moon. That's the end of one of the most mystical Gemaras you'll ever learn in your life. Every Rosh Chodesh, it's the moon, we're counting by the moon, so we say it's a new month, it's a moon month. God did something to the moon. So Hashem's kapara, we bring a sa'ir, we bring a karban, we're bringing an atonement for Hashem. Does God do anything wrong, Aviyad? No, God is perfect. Ein avil. There's no injustice. Hashem gets it right, He's perfect. God is perfect. And every Rosh Chodesh, what do you and I do? What does Klal Yisrael do? We bring a karban musaf. Today we can't bring the karban, so we say Yishmad Esrei. We say musaf on Rosh Chodesh. We say a musaf, and we describe in the musaf we say musaf, and in musaf we decide Rashi Chadshechem. We bring and we describe here sa'ir lechaper. We bring a sa'ir for a kapara. A kapara for who? Very mystical. Sa'ir lechaper. We bring a sa'ir, a goat, to give atonement. Whose atonement, Aaron? Whose atonement? Who needs a kapara? God. Whoa. What's for doing what? For lowering the moon. That's what we do. So I would like to explain to the Chevra a little bit. This is a mysterious Gemara, a mysterious Chazal. Yosef Dov, mysterious Chazal. Every single Rosh Chodesh, Yidden bring a kapara. We bring a sa'ir, a goat, and we're being mechaper. We're doing atonement to the moon, for Hashem. Why? Because He lowered the moon. So I'd like to say what it appears to me. What's happening here? God is perfect. We're bringing kapara. What are we saying? What are we doing? Shlomo, it bothers you a little bit to bring a kapara like Rosh Hashanah? What's happening? I want the guys, it's Rosh Chodesh tonight. Rosh Chodesh tonight. To me, I want to explain a consolation. I would like to talk, leaving the Yom Tovim. It's not easy. I love symbols. I like being with my family, celebrating Tzazamen. I brought him to the airport there, so we separated last night. Very difficult. I want to talk. It's that Simchas Torah is magical. I love the yeshiva. I want to say there's a downer. We're going to get there. The yeshiva picks me back up. I still feel I love Simchas Torah. Shmini Atzeres is crazy, and we're leaving that now. I want to say something that means something to me. I'd like to share it with the guys. Please listen. The moon complains to Hashem that it's unnecessary, it's not good, it doesn't do anything for the earth to have two lights. Not just doesn't do, it's actually bad for the very people you sent us to serve. You don't send two people, Hashem, it makes no sense. And Hashem acknowledges, you're right. And when we say that there's a conversation with Hashem, I promise Hashem thought of this. It means that Hashem asks the moon to say this. The moon is speaking on behalf of Hashem. And Hashem, you'll hear, because He wants us to learn something. He's talking to us, Hashem. So does it make sense to have two bosses running anything? No. What happens on two bosses? If you have two bosses, you have no boss. You have fights. It doesn't work. Somebody's in charge. Nobody. You have to. So the Hashem says, "Moon, you're right. Lower yourself." So the sun is the shiner. So what's the moon's task? Reflect the sun. What does the moon do? Please listen to this. What does the moon do? The moon reaches places the sun can't reach. The sun shines by day, it doesn't reach by night. What brings light by night? The moon. The moon reflects the sunshine. It brings it to places the sun can't reach. Now the moon says, but at the end of the day I'm less. At the end of the day I'm less. And Hashem concludes, after giving many presents to the moon, Hashem says every Rosh Chodesh bring a kapara. Kapara doesn't mean God did a sin. God doesn't sin. It means to be mechaper is to make up. It means that in the deepest way it expresses, the moon expresses what it looks like I lessened you, I didn't. What is Rosh Chodesh? A time of kapara, of renewal. That Yidden have constant things. We're re-mechazik. We come back after sin. We fix up. We work our way out. In a very deep way, what the moon is, the sun shines brightly and perfectly. But there are places it can't reach. Hashem made a world. There's darkness. There's night. There are places it can't reach. What happens at night? A reflection of sun. There's something that took the sunlight and brought it to dark places and to places the sun couldn't reach. Do you have that Yidden are people that we count the moon year? We live different than Goyim, we count the moon year. We're moon people. If you ask, it's a very big part of who we are. Some of our leaders are called Katan. David, the Gemara gives a list of tzaddikim that are called Yaakov HaKatan, Shmuel HaKatan, and David HaKatan. I'm going to explain very part we're moon people. I'll explain. Aviad, our job is to take big lights, to take big truths and big excitement, and to bring it to dark places. Each of us to shine a light in uniquely dark places. We're moon people. And there's a special beauty of taking light that you received and shining it in little dark places. We all have our unique places to shine light. I always love at the Kiddush Friday night, the family gathers. I look at Yom Tov, I sat with my whole family, and then we're together. In a way, we disperse. My wife's back to work. She's sitting at work somewhere today. We all disperse. My son flew to Eretz Yisrael, and we all have a task to take things we gather together and bring to places, to all different stations and all different places. I've used this example many, many times. I'm going to use Shlomo. I use this example. There's a certain music, there's a musician who's excellent. People my age, typically, I'm not speaking, I don't represent everybody my age, but I could say myself and my wife and many friends of mine do not connect to this music. It's like a new type of sound, and I listen, I don't connect to it. I love the musician, but his music doesn't touch me. There are guys in yeshiva, my own kids love his music. They listen, they like it. He clearly is tapping into something of emotion today that I don't relate so much to. I say this real. When Shlomo Guri takes one of his songs and plays it for me, it like makes me crazy. I love it. There's something that Shlomo has. Shlomo is the moon in this case. To this guy's sun, you can't always get from the sun. Sometimes it's too bright and you can't relate. You have a reason you can't understand. But there's some moon that can reflect the light and you can receive it. There have been many tzaddikim like this. Reb Nachman was a very mysterious tzaddik. If we didn't have a Talmud Reb Nachman, it's unlikely we would have his Torah today. Where he said himself, we wouldn't. He was very hard to understand, Reb Nachman. I could tell you things about Reb Nachman that you wouldn't understand. I don't understand. He was a certain son, a chiddush, very unusual. He did not live a typical life like you and I live. He did things that I don't even know if you, not at all. I know you and I should not do. He had a certain unusual life. He had a Talmud Reb Nassan who was his moon, who took his light and showed it to everybody, and through Reb Nassan we were able to receive his light. There have always been suns and moons. That tzaddikim will have a tremendous. The Baal Shem himself was a sunshine, but it wouldn't have spread without his Talmud, the Maggid. The Maggid spread the Torah of the Baal Shem. There have always been suns and moons. I'm telling you, with Shlomo, he plays one of his songs. What? That's amazing. But somehow, I don't know what he can hear, what that music is, and then he gives it, and then I get it and I receive it. He's the moon to that sun. And I want to say this. I say this to all the guys here, and I want to explain a little the kapara. We come from Yom Tov. I promise it's hard to leave. It's gorgeous. Rosh Hashanah was crazy. Rosh Hashanah here was epic. Yom Kippur was beautiful. I wasn't Zayich to be. I hear from the guys. It was stunning. Well, I loved Yom Kippur. Sukkot was magnificent. Simchas Torah was crazy. And it's hard to leave it, but my sense is that Hashem wants us to now take that light. That's the Son of Swords. That's a chiyus. That's a united and beautiful. Go to your own spaces that don't have that light and bring something beautiful there. I looked at my tzibur, that Shabbos we spent, I was with people, we spent a week together, mamish learning, we were davening. My wife was thinking how much hours we're in shul together, davening, divrei Torah, singing, hugging each other. People are sitting right now at offices with Goyim, by the way. I have guys in my shul right now, they're working very, very hard. They went from sitting in shul saying Hallel till 12:31, divrei Torah, singing Sudas with their mishpachas, and now they're back to their jobs. And what I want to say is all of us have times where we receive sunlight, beautiful, and it's gorgeous, and not to minimize that. But then we have a task to be a moon, to take what we receive and reflect it places. That guy today sitting at work, that guy right now, when I think about him, he's sitting at work and I think where he just was and where he is. What's happening? He can't stay Simchas Torah? What Hashem does? What's happening? And I promise his task, sitting at work, is to be a little more honest, a little more sweet, a little more Toradic, a little more chiyus, and to shine a beautiful reflection of the akafas right at his work. My wife's back to work today. We're not sitting together as a family, the comfort. There's a light we absorbed. Take it and light up somewhere that doesn't have that light. Bring it with sweetness, with sincerity, with warmth. Take it that it's dark outside, it's difficult, and shine the light there. Shine it there. There's a deep connection between Chanukah and Sukkot, deep. If you know Svarim, Shana Rabbah, and Chanukah, it's so cool to me that Chanukah represents lighting a light in the middle of the night, when a little light's actually effective. And by day, it wouldn't even mean anything. And it really is the task going forth from Simchas Torah, going forth from all these days of beauty, of tremendous beauty. It's not by accident. We're sent off. It's not so easy. I picture like a group of soldiers huddled up and meeting and supporting each other, just feeling warm. I love pre-game, before a team plays, they gather in the middle. Wolf, pack. I love like the banding, but then you go off and you fight. There's a banding. To me, the wolf pack chant of people hugging and uniting is a whole chag, a whole time of absorbing light. But then you have a task. We don't have our kafas now. Maybe let's do our kafas the whole year. Let's quickly take out this. No. We absorbed something. We felt something. We experienced something. We were energized by something. Now go bring it. Now bring that. And it's hard. It's hard because it's night, because it is night. But the moon has a very special role. I want to say, Avi, when it says Hashem's mechaper, what's this kapara mechol? This is, to me, the only pshat. I think this is real mechol. I thought about this Gemara a long time. Avi and I learned it a year ago, and I'm like, Hashem's bring kapara. I want to say what I think pshat is. I can't. There's written on it what resonates by me, mechol. Hashem's kapara, Hashem's atonement. It means what Hashem was trying to say to us. The moon said, like, what? Wherever we see the moon, what? The moon, like, was taken away its stature and given such, all it could do is reflect. And what does the moon get as Hashem's kapara, Hashem's atonement? Is yidden, renew, and ever fresh. The possibility of tshuva, the possibility of amidst darkness renewing, making mistakes. The sayur we bring for Hashem means whenever we have the possibility of rejuvenation, of coming back from dark, of figuring things out when we get lost, that all is the kapara of Hashem. That means Hashem wants us to see that in the moon. To see the power that there's times the light doesn't shine, but you can reflect, you can bring, You can light up a night. There'll be distance. Night is distance from Hashem. There'll be chet. There'll be mistake. There'll be losing. And you're possible to come back, to shine again, to fix up, to repair, to light up the night. You can come back. The Sa'ir of Rosh Chodesh, which means the Jewish capacity to rebuild, to light a light amidst darkness, to figure something out when I'm lost. That's the kapara. That's the message of the moon. And we're a moon people. It's the message of our people that we're always capable of coming back, of shining. So cool that Jews, if anything, we're not called the sun, we're called the moon. Rav Hirsch writes about this. The sun, the guy is called the sun, the yid is the moon. A people that a very real people that know we lose our way, we forget, we make mistakes, but a people that's always shaykh to return. And our job is to bring that which we once had. We don't have it. Somebody texted me, a very sweet bacher Shlomo and I met in Frisch, a tzaddik of a guy. He texted, how do I hold on to Simchas Torah? He clearly had a meaning. And the answer is you don't. To be blunt, you don't. I hold on, Simchas Torah. How do I have Simchas Torah? It was crazy. Anybody who's like in touch with a chag, it's how do you hold on? I don't want to say you don't. Simchas Torah. I want to say you reflect what you get. The moon is not the sun. It's not. Doesn't do the same. It's not the same thing, but it shines something. It reflects something in a dark place. The answer is go to your station, and you remember what you had. You reflect what you had. It meant it. There's a reflection. There's an echo of it. There's something. The moon doesn't light up the dark like the sun, but it has a beautiful place. When it's pitch black, there's some light from the moon. And it even has some stars, it has some light of its own, and it's something beautiful that there is a light amidst the darkness. There is a light. So this to me is a tremendous comfort of getting out there. Yes, there's an excitement, there's a togetherness. Everybody, there's a certain power of Simchas Torah, of Yidden celebrating. There's a unity, a togetherness that's like crazy. To me, Simchas Torah like captures literally 21 days. It captures Rosh Hashanah. As people say, guys change from Simchas Torah matches. Anybody who sees people, to me, I can speak anybody else. Simchas Torah impacts me. Rosh Hashanah, Aseres Yemei Tshuva, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot all together is Simchas Torah, Shmini Atzeres. It's a cool day. It's a meaningful day. It's a beautiful day. And then we leave it. And then we leave it all. And we all have a task to reflect, to bring a light to our own station, to bring a sincerity. We all have our own journey and our own story. We're in a yeshiva that doesn't try to force things, acknowledges in this room we're not the same story. We're not the same journey. We all have a beauty to bring to our own circumstance, to our own place, to our own yeshiva, to our own unique story. We have a beautiful light to shine there, something special to bring there. I was talking to a parent. A bacher was in yeshiva over about 3.5 years, left the yeshiva this month. And I was on the phone with the parents. They were crying. Their son has grown a lot, and the parents were crying. I'm talking the son. I'm talking about their son. The parents were crying. They were being baicha. He's leaving. And I was thinking about this sun and the moon. This boy, this bacher grew amazingly here. He's still on his journey, and he has a place. He has his own mission, his own station, and he got a lot from here. But his job is in his own place, his own station, to shine his own light, and to try to take. He was describing. I took a lot. I wanted to get more thanking. He has his own journey, and in a beautiful way, he'll shine a light where he's going, where he is. That's the story of all our lives, to capture sunlight. We have many experiences of sunlight. It might be a Simchas Torah, it might be a Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, it might be a certain friendship, it might be a certain Rebbe. My Rebbe was Nifter last year. My Rebbe passed away. That's a very bright light for me that existed. I would like to try to be a moon to that light in any way I can. It's interesting that we just came from Simchas Torah. Simchas Torah was one of the highlights when I received from my Rebbe. I don't think I'll ever forget it. I'm not a kid today. I remember my Rebbe singing Simchas Torah. The songs we sang, the energy he gave Simchas Torah was something like gorgeous. I do one, like, I don't call it a shtick. There's something I do by the Akafas for my Rebbe. I don't like trying to imitate him. I do one thing by the Akafas. The L'Kavod HaMakom, that's my Rebbe. The Moshe Emes, that's by the fourth Akafa. I have a reason I do it by Moshe Rabbeinu's Akafa. The L'Kavod HaMakom and the Moshe Emes is from that thing I do. Is from my Rebbe. And I do it by the fourth Akafa. I can't say that he only did it by the fourth. I don't remember. Could be he did it by a few. I like by Moshe Rabbeinu because Moshe Kibel Torah Mesinai. Nesar Yeshua, Yeshua Zakenim. That's Akafa. It's Netzach. There's a reason that I like it by that Akafa, and I do this thing my Rebbe did. I never want to imitate him, but I do want to reflect the light that he gave me. So I wanted to say this to the Chevras. It's funny, I'm really speaking. There's a hello and a goodbye today. Here's a hello. This is a funny speech. There's a hello and there's an excitement being here, but I don't want to be pretend. I'm still feeling the leaving of Simchas Torah. Now, I will get very excited to be, and it takes time. A lot of guys have this the first couple of days you're in Shir. We're excited to be back in Yeshiva, but there's still a sense. People left their families. Stiki's sitting with his Heilige Tata for days. That's something till he's back. He's at work. You're not sitting with your Heilige Tata. It's a big thing. I was Zeiche Yom Tov to be with my father first days. So with my father, there's big lights to absorb. Tremendous, tremendous lights to absorb. I want to say we absorb those lights. And then our job is to moon, is to go to all different places that Hashem sends us. It could be your yeshiva, your dorm room, your friends, whatever situation that the Hashgacha puts us, and our job is to reflect in a beautiful way. Lights there. By the way, the sun couldn't reach there. Only you could reach there. We can reach there. So that's a beautiful, not just message, it's a truth. It's a truth. It's a moon lesson. It's good for Erev Rosh Chodesh. Tonight's Rosh Chodesh. Yet didn't celebrate the moon. That little sliver comes back. It's very cool that the moon, the very place that the moon doesn't have its own light causes. If the moon has its own light, would it get bigger and smaller? Does the sun get bigger and smaller, my friends? The sun's its own light. It just stays the same. The moon, which reflects, so it depends where it is. You see a little bit. That's what makes it smaller and bigger. So ironically, the very koyach that teaches us ischadshus, freshness, renewal, rebuilding, is the very fact that it doesn't have its own light. It's a reflective. The very humility of the moon that I'll reflect is what gives strength. The Yid sees the moon and sees the power of renewal, the power of shining in dark places, the power of tshuva, the power of things aren't bleak. There's something for me to give there. There's a beauty to bring out there. I actually look then, in a certain way, departing Yad, when I think about this friend of mine who's working today, I actually see a tremendous beauty of what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to take everything he received and bring a light. It will look different, admittedly. He can bring a very beautiful light, the moon. And it's actually, Hashem, we're a people who count by the moon. It's actually our tafkid and our job. So in many times in our life, when we're asked to step away from the sun and we freak out, we step away from the sun, it's actually an opportunity to shine a unique light in a unique place. So that's whenever you have a sense you stepped away from the sun and you freak out. It's a good winter shmooze. It's a truth. It's a message for after Sukkot. It's a sugya in Chulin Samach Amid Beis.
Why is it called a kapara?
I think it means, when we ever say kapara, I don't think it means like this atonement for sin. We call it like an atonement. I think it means what Hashem was trying to say. So it means it makes up. It's like a gilui of what he was trying to say. That's what you were doing. So that when it looks like the moon got like a patch, it didn't get a patch at all. It was bringing something out, an ever-important lesson, a very important light it was meant to shine. Actually, the power of the moon, we're a moon people forever. So the moon came and said, this is a bad idea. It looks like he was patch, he wasn't patch. The moon, there's a people who count, the people who actually his job is forever to bring light to all unity, to people who've traveled all around. Has anybody been in Gullus, more places? We're moon people. We bring a light to all different corners, all different places. When I think somebody asked me about the yeshiva, that you hear difficult stories a lot. We have guys in yeshiva go through a lot. Why aren't you more down from that? And there's a legitimate thing. There's a legitimate, a feeling person can hear stories and could get very down. I want to say that these are all stations for us to provide light. All of the circumstances of our life. What we think Yisrael, all of us have situations in our life. We think it's crazy. I have this. They're all opportunities to bring a light to a unique spot. That's the job. We're moon people, meant to reflect light into all different places. There's a beauty to that. Have you heard this beautiful Gemara? We'll stop here. I want to learn. There's no world that we could skip Bereshis. I want to tell the Chevra that one of the main things I got from my Rebbe is the way he learned up Sefer Bereshis. And Musarvad for the next couple of months, maybe the next 2 months or so, we're really going to learn Sefer Bereshis. Today we just learned one sugya in Sefer Bereshis, the sun and the moon. The biggest things I got from my Rebbe all year round, there was a period of time for years he learned Chumash. He was up to Noach after many years. He would do pasuk by pasuk. He had a group of very close people, and he would learn Sefer Bereshis. The Yesodis I got from my Rebbe in Bereshis, Noach, Lech Lecha, Hayerech, Hayesara were like life-changing. It may be the biggest gift he gave me. So over the next couple of months, I'd like to learn Sefer Bereshis with the Chevra. But this Seder, we learn different things. Over the next couple of months, we're going to learn Chumash. I want to learn Kayin and Hevel a little bit. Maybe we'll see when the parashas move fast. My Rebbe stayed on Noach for a couple of years. He was on Noach for years. We're going to try to keep up a little bit to the week's parasha. We'll have to see how we balance it. We just learned the sugya of the sun and the moon a little bit. We touched the sugya of the sun and the moon, the creation of the sun and the moon. I'd like to learn a little bit Kayin and Hevel. Kayin is a wild figure. I'd like to learn. He's Nav and Nud, so he's taka pretty wild. We'll try to learn a little about Kayin. We'll try to learn some of these parshas. I do want to share what I got from my Rebbe. I don't want to go too long now. I want to invite the guys. We're going to have a little bit of an unusual Leil Shishi tonight. Normally we start the Leil Shishi late. I wanted to get right in. I thought that it's important to start as man to get going, that we'll get right in. We're going to have an earlier Leil Shishi. We're going to, around 9:30. Nights it'll be 7:30 to 8:30. We'll have Ma'ariv. I asked Ellie Dax to come. There's a band, a shtickle band coming. We'll sing, we'll dance. We'll have excellent food. We'll have a Leil Shishi tonight. I asked the guys to join us. We will be starting second Seder on Monday. We're starting slowly. I asked the first Seder, guys, we started first Seder this morning. We'll continue on Sunday morning. Tomorrow we're going to learn Vayter Chumash. I want to learn a little Noach tomorrow, so we're going to continue Chumash. Tomorrow we will learn Chumash.
Rabbi,
yes.
One more important announcement. We have a birthday cake for Aviad. If everyone could just join.
Happy birthday to Aviad. Happy birthday to Aviad. Happy birthday to Aviad. Happy birthday to
Guys, a big happy birthday to Yassel Yudin as well.
Really? Wow. Where's Yassel? Yassel's today? Today? Really? Happy birthday. What? Doesn't it?
I felt bad.
Yassel.